welcome back for Collective Comrade. Welcome back to Sitting with Ashley. I'm Ashley. Okay, we are going to talk about the Florence Immigrant and Refugee, or the Florence Project, which is Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project. If you don't know, Florence, Arizona is a place here in this state that is an interesting town. It's in Pinal County, Arizona, which is like South AZ. Florence is one of the most interesting places I've ever been to because it is predominantly prisons. How many? Yeah, here we are. As of 2016, Florence is home to multiple state, federal, county, and private prisons. I think when I went there back in 2014, there were 13 prisons. Arizona State Prison, Arizona State Prison, Arizona State Prison, Central Arizona Correctional Facility, Central Arizona Detention Center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Florence Correctional Center, 6, Pinal County Adult Detention, Pinal County Youth Detention, that's 8, I don't know, there's some other bullshit here. Pretty sure there were 13 when I was there. Anyway, does the population include prisoners? It's such a weird town. So there's like 2 main drives, and there's like a McDonald's, and there's like a cafe. I couldn't go on the tour in there. But anyway, Todd Miller's wife worked at Todd Miller is the man who wrote Border Patrol Nation, among other border books. And he was working with our cohort when I started my master's program. He's also a Prescott College alum. But his wife was working at the Florence Project. While we were in town, we went there. And I want to talk to you about what they do. So yes, there are all of these prisons, but there's also Florence Immigrant and Refugee Rights Project. On any given day, 5,000 immigrant adults and children are detained in Arizona. How we help: without the right to a public defender, both adults and children in immigration detention appear in court alone with an attorney. They may be deported back to unsafe situations they have fled. The Florence Project offers them a lifeline through free legal and social services and advocacy. While we're talking about that, what is pipeline? What is it called? There's an operation here in the United States as far as judicial goes in regards to immigrants and migrants. But I don't think it's pipeline. It's something like that. Judiciary. Oh God, what is this word? Arizona Migrant Judicial Project Pipeline. What is that called? I don't know. There's and remember, this was under different administrations, right? This was under Obama that I was learning all of these things. So yeah, they still existed under Obama. These things have always existed. This is gonna drive me. So there's this process, Streamline, I think is what it's called, where easy streamline migrant judicial Operation Streamline. We found it. Is a joint initiative of the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice in the United States, started in 2005, that adopts a zero-tolerance approach to unauthorized border crossing by criminally prosecuting those perpetrating it. Up to 70% are tried at the same time, sometimes wearing shackles in the courtroom, entering without inspection is a misdemeanor, and re-entering after deportation is a felony. So that's what the Florence Project helps support, because Operation Streamline, like it says, will just put all of these people in the courtroom together under one judge, and some of them have translation devices, some of them don't. And we're seeing this right now with like really small children too, who are being deported under these new policies of this administration. But I want you to understand that this shit has always existed in some degree. Operation Streamline, again, started in 2005. After launching Streamline at one sector of the Texas-Mexico border in 2005, the number of criminal prosecutions for illegally border crossing and re-entry quadrupled from 4,000 annually in the early 2000s to 16,000 in 2005. The program expanded to several other sectors during the first term of the Obama administration. Okay, so under Obama, everybody is, Prince Charming, this happened. Okay, so I want you to understand that when we talk about nonprofits and when we talk about resistance and we talk about organizing and collective liberation efforts, we need to ensure the understanding that both Republicans and Democrats work together, because again, politicians are lobbied. If you don't know what lobbying is, that's when people with hidden agendas pay politicians to back up certain initiatives, right? Vote for certain legislations, things like that. Everything that these politicians do is funded by someone who wants something else done. It doesn't matter what side of the room you sit on. It doesn't matter what color you associate yourself with. This country is purple. There's no difference between red and blue. I mean, red, yeah, they're a little more blatant about it. But the blue folks pretend to be good while they shit in your face, right? So the Florence Project, is a line of support. But with those numbers, I mean, this is a tiny ass organization. I've been to the building. Compared to the 13 prisons around it, it is maybe the size of like a 3-car garage. Not even 2-car garage. Okay, it's a small, tiny building. So with that being said, there's more need for pro bono work, people who can support in legalities. And again, that was before this administration, because now everything's illegal. What I'm talking to you about right now, everything. But just so you know, there are people, the whole point of this project is that there are people holding the line. There are people who have started these initiatives, who are working against the system. And that's the main point, is like, no matter how much fear you feel right now, understand that so many have come before you. So many things already exist to counter these things. So don't be hopeless. Get involved. Put some action behind how you're feeling, and you'll feel better. You can support them financially. It says jobs and internships. You can contact them. I think there's probably some ways that we could do outreach to prisoners who are incarcerated through them, if you feel like doing letter writing or, writing cards or something, especially if you speak Spanish. Those are the things that make humans great, is showing up for humanity. So I want you to understand that there are things already exist. We have grown from 2 staff members to nearly 200 since 1989. We stand with the Florence Project on the front line of immigrants' rights. Join a talented and diverse team committed to rights. So there are ways to join with internships. They don't have any current open positions, but they do need a director of finance in Phoenix. But other than that, you may want to just volunteer. There is volunteer stuff. There's testimonials. I will put the website in the description box below for you to check them out. They also have a way to change the language from English to Spanish if you are. But I would say, the way that it's such a weird town, you guys. It's all prisons. I remember the McDonald's because I was like, ew. So I think it said on Wikipedia that there's a population of 26,000, so that must be like the guards and their families. I don't think that includes the prisoners. I'm not positive, but with 13 prisons, hang on, does the population, I feel like this was something I was asking when we were doing this, of Florence include prisoners? No. The official population figures of Florence, Arizona do not typically include the inmate population. Let's get some photos, if I can show you Florence, Arizona. It's such a fucking weird place. Images. Let's look at the prisons. So it's like out in the middle of goddamn nowhere. Like, for real. It's super desert. Flat. Open. There's not like brush or anything. It's like you can see. And there's the signs on the highway are crazy too. I remember because they say like prisons and like beware of hitchhikers and shit. It's such an interesting place. Attractions in Florence. Oh god, it's so gross. This is a park. I don't know if it'll show us very much. Anyway, okay, I'm just planting these seeds here. So if you want to get involved, there's lots of places to get involved. And I will be back to do more organizations. Probably today. I kind of want to get a bunch done here in Arizona regarding incarceration and immigration. Because I think this is a really important thing to talk about right now and put out. So have a good one.